Traffic Jam is on now.
Welcome to the Traffic Jam podcast once again. It's your humble correspondent, the one, the only, Dr. Trey. And I'm here with Toronto-based actor extraordinaire, Mr. Carlos Albornoz. And he's got a very extensive resume and building a great career. How you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing great. How are you?
So here's a interesting question. We just lost one of the greatest rappers of all time, the one and only
Yeah.
great Prince Marky D of the Fat Boys, and also Prince Marky D in the Soul Convention. Believe it or not, Mr. Corey, uh, it was a good friend of mine, good friend of Mark's. We just lost him. He also was a co-host on the show I was doing on Sirius XM, LL Cool J's Rock the Bells, on Tuesdays, and I did a segment called The Doctor's Appointment, and he was there with Jess Janelle, the producer, and he was definitely his show. And we just lost him recently. And you get an opportunity to actually play him in the movie, in the Salt and Pepper movie. Did you know anything about his relationship before you took the part?
So I didn't know who Prince Marky D was before I got the audition. I knew who Salt and Pepa was. I never listened to them, like, because I grew up, I was born in 88. But like my sisters,
past the Fat Boys, but go ahead.
Yeah. Like my sisters are 8 and 10 years older than I am. So they would be listening to Salt and Peppa. But when I got the audition, I was like, okay, Salt and Peppa, dope. And I was like, okay, who's Prince Marky D? And then I started researching him and I was like, yo, this guy's dope. Like he's a rapper. Okay, cool. Started researching and doing some more research. Okay, he's starring in movies. That's awesome, and coming from a Puerto Rican descent. And really, I believe he was like really one of the first Puerto Rican descent or Latino descent rappers to enter the hip hop game, which is an accomplishment in itself.
Well, I'll just give you a little info. He was one of many great Latin and Hispanic Puerto Rican people who were in the rap game from the infancy of it, because the one thing about rap and hip hop, it brought across diversity to all communities. That's why it became so popular. And he, along with Buff, the Human Beatbox, and Kool Rock Ski, got together and created a group called the Disco 3. And from there, because of the popularity of this song, which was produced by Curtis Blow, Fat Boys, they changed the name of the group to the Fat Boys. And they went on to a huge career, like you said, not only in music, but also in movies, with movies like Crush Groove and movies like The Disorderlies. So you get this part as Kool Rock Ski, excuse me, Prince Marky D, I'm sorry. How do you research him. Do you say, maybe I want to reach out and talk to the guy and just say, well, what happened? Because some actors do that. They actually reach the people they're about to play just to get a better background on who they are. What was your work ethic to make that happen?
I mean, at the time, I didn't reach out to him at first, because I was just like, there's no, like, I'm Carlos Albornoz. There's no way in hell someone like Prince Marky D is going to be reaching out to me. So what I really started to do and to get to know him a little bit better is watch a lot of his interviews on YouTube. So many interviews that he's done. I watched the movies that he did, Crush Groove, Disorderlies, you know what I mean? And then as an actor, I tried to fill in the blanks, you know what I mean? Try to give it that sense, that vibe that Marky D is, but also just give it a little bit of me. So that's what I did with the role. And then once finally I started posting about it once I was allowed to post about it on my Instagram, I was like, yo, I'm playing Prince Marky D. I ended up tagging him. And then it wasn't until a few months after that he reached out to me. He's like, yo, like you're playing me in a movie? And I was like, yeah, like I am. Like, whoa, I can't believe you're actually reaching out to me. Like, this is insane.
Well,
yeah, so that's how it happened.
I'm very close to his former manager, Charles Stetler. And if I know Charlie right now, he's trying to put together a Fat Boys movie. And
Really?
I'm telling you, with the job you did in that movie, the opportunities may be there for you to do another audition and get to play Prince Marky D all over again.
That
So
that
was
would
Salt and
be
Pepper on the
absolutely
set?
amazing. They
Was
were.
Salt and Pepper on the set when
Yeah,
when
actually.
you filmed that
So
part?
they were actually. So the day I went to go film that scene, we were doing it at the at some place here in Toronto. We were filming, and when I was filming that scene in the club, they were also filming the beginning part where you see them, or no, at the ending where you see Salt and Peppa at the end, the actual Salt and Peppa. So that's what they were filming there. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to meet them because once they were done, they were already late for a flight out back to LA, I believe, or I don't know where they were going. But they were already late, so I just got to say hi, how you doing, and that was the only interaction I got with the actual Salt and Peppa.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So what was the story they told you about the relationship at that moment when you in this scene that you play?
Yeah, so what I was told is the director, Mario Van Peebles, he was telling me, he's like, listen, this is just this is where Peppa meets Marky. He was just he's this famous guy. He was in a movie. They're up and coming. You know what I mean? And you like her, and you have this confidence, is what I was told. There's this confidence about the character, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I was told about the character.
What's going on? This is Dennis L.A. White, and you're watching The Traffic Jam.
Hey, man, I'm just standing here. What can I say? You're in one of my favorite shows on Netflix and now soon to be on network TV. Would you like to know what it is?
Which one?
Shit Creek.
Yes.
Shit's Creek.
Yes.
What you doing,
that
Shit's
was
Creek? I'm like, what?
Oh man, no, that's definitely a special show. And that was actually
love that show.
So good. And it was actually one of the very first professional gig that I booked, was Schitt's Creek. So
what character
very,
did you
very
play in Schitt's Creek? Because now you're gonna make me go back and watch again.
So I played it was just like a day player part. It was a one-liner. It was when David was opening up his apothecary. And it's the very first day, and there's a huge lineup, and he's like, what is everyone doing here? And I'm like, yo, bro, back of the line.
Oh, that was you? Yo,
yeah, that was me.
That's like I think it's season 3.
Yeah, season 3, exactly.
Season 3. So you can tell I'm a big fan. That show has me in tears.
Oh man, it's so good. Oh, the finale, yeah, me too. I was man, it was heartbreaking, but I love the family dynamics, you know what I mean? Like, it starts off with this family that couldn't be further apart from each other, and then by the end, they're departing, and then they come together, and they don't want to see each other go anymore, right? And then they've all just, their journeys is just incredible.
I think the show's. How did you get that gig? And did you get a chance to meet like Eugene Levy and the full cast?
Sorry, did I get to meet who?
Eugene Levy, the creator.
Eugene Levy, yeah. Yeah, actually. So the way I got it is, I had just finished graduated from theater school, and I got an agent out of that. Her name was Janet Abrams. She sent me out the audition. I went in person because it was not COVID times just yet. So I went to in-person audition for Lisa Parison, and did the audition and got the call. It's like, hey, they want to cast you in this role. Are you available? I'm like, yes, I'm available.
Of course.
Yeah, right. Got there, got to set, did all the makeup, and the first person I met was Dan Levy, who was so the nicest person that you'll ever meet. I mean, he was just, and so humble, like you can just tell, like his energy was just absolutely amazing. So he was the first person that I met, and then afterwards, once we were on set, I briefly got to meet Eugene and Catherine, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
Right.
They were, again, absolutely amazing. And yeah, those were the only three that I actually got to interact with, and Noah Reed, actually, who was, yeah, absolutely amazing, who played Patrick.
Was it a kind of set where everybody's loose and they just want to have fun and make sure that the scene really works? Is that what it was about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what it was about. I mean, like, you get on set and everybody's just laughing, and it's so free, and it was, yeah, that for my first gig definitely set the expectations very high. Like, I've done some gigs after that that didn't meet that standard, and I was just like, wow, like, not every set is like this. you know
Isn't
so
that a
yeah.
part of the acting experience, that every acting job isn't going to be the same? So how do you keep motivated when, after such a great experience on Shit Creek? And I'm telling everybody, you need to go watch Shit Creek on Netflix just for Carlos's one line. I'm going back so I can say, that's Carlos. I saw it. There he is right there. He's in Shit Creek. Oh. So back to the question, seriously. What is the motivation for you in other acting gigs when you've had such a great experience there? What motivates you to do other parts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just the love out of exploring different people and different characters, and bringing them to life. Since I was a kid, I was always pretending there was lights and cameras around me, and doing different kind of scenes. So just the love really keeps me motivated, and that's not to say that I don't get frustrated, or there isn't any sets that aren't as professional, because there's definitely that, and when I'm doing auditions, there's definitely frustration, but beyond that is just the sheer love of acting, and the art of acting, and telling stories. That's what keeps me motivated, is just really the passion and the love for it.
What do you look for when you go to an audition in a part? Do you just immediately say, hey, I'm just need a job, I need a gig? Or do you say, look, I'm hoping to play this kind of character, and I can present this, and I actually can, get this part, and I can bring, my talent to the table? What do you look for?
Yeah. So as I mean, as I was beginning in the industry, I really was just kind of, just taking just any kind of work and just really trying to bring that character to life. But as I'm progressing now, like, I'm being given characters that are just so complex and so amazing. And that's really what I've looked for, is complexity. Am I able to bring that character's emotions to life? Can I be this human being? Can this character, use me as a conduit for their story? That's really how I see it. And yeah,
well, you said
love it.
earlier, you used to walk around making up characters and improving, and do you do impressions? I mean, give us one of the characters you would make up as a kid, thinking there's cameras around you. Should I give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown?
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
What are some of the struggles you face trying to go get parts, especially as being a Latin man, and trying to say, well, I can play this other part too. It's not specifically for a Latin character or myself. I can adapt as an actor.
Yeah. The thing that really gets me in the industry is just, like, especially being a person of color, is that when you get a script and you're being asked to scene for someone, the names of these characters sometimes don't match what I look like. Like, I'll be given a name like Finn Daniels, and I look like a completely Latino person. Like, you look at me and I'm just like, and you're like, whoa, that guy's Latino. And I will never in any world have a name like Finn Daniels. You know what I mean? So that's what really frustrates me about that, is just, it's just the representation. It is getting better, absolutely. You know, their producers and directors and casting directors are starting to bring in people from diverse backgrounds, which is absolutely amazing. But we're not fully there yet. You know what I mean? We're still whitewashing names and characters. And when you do that and you're doing casting, well, casting's like, well, this guy doesn't look like a Finn Daniels. I'm gonna go to the guy that does. You know, and that's what frustrates me in the industry.
It limits
Is
your
just
opportunities also.
exactly because I can play a Finn Daniels. I can have that journey, but I'm never gonna look like a Finn Daniels. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna look like a Luis, or I can be a Daniel, you know what I mean, or Fernando, Carlos, you know, like Finn.
Well, there's been a lot of great Latin and people brown and black skin who are now not only proving their point in front of the camera, but they're also now jumping behind the camera. Are you witnessing a lot of diversity behind the camera?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I just did a show up in Vancouver, 2 Sentence Horror Stories, and the directors were of Latino and Lebanese descent. The cast, Latino cast, the crew, everybody from all types of backgrounds. So, and that's also the type of show that that makes a major focus on diversity. If you look at the show, which is out on Netflix, by the way. So if you haven't seen it on the CW, 2 Sentence Horror Stories, Netflix, only in the US, unfortunately, not in Canada. But check it out. And yeah, they're just such a diverse cast. You know, you have your Black people, you have your Latino people, you have your indigenous people, Asian. You know, that's what I feel like is so amazing about that show, is that they make it a point to make their stories
to show the world
diverse,
what it really looks like, not an imaginary world.
Exactly. That's what it's about. It's about making the world, or making shows and movies that mirror the world that we live in, and not just the world that we want to see.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Hi everyone, I'm going to show you 2 exercises of abs. One of my favorites is actually the plank position. For women, I recommend you to do crunch, reverse crunch, and I will explain why on the topic a little bit later. For men, you can do regular crunches. Follow me? So you want to make sure as well, when you do your plank position, that your shoulder, your arm are completely aligned. So since we come here, you want that alignment, you don't want to be here. Keep your abs strong and your back straight. For beginner, of course, you can go on your knee. You can open your leg, it's much easier, or you can keep them closed. I would recommend 20, 30 seconds to 40 seconds for a beginner and going on your way up. For those more advanced, you can actually twist. You can move forward or just stay. And go for as long as you want.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So what's next on your slate? Now that you're playing great rappers, legendary rappers, now that you're on one of my favorite shows ever, Shit Creek, what else are you looking forward to do?
Yeah, so like I said just now, or just a little bit ago, I just had a show. That's the show that I was filming out in Vancouver, 2 Sentence Horror Stories. The episode's called El Muerto, which means the dead one in Spanish. That just came out on Netflix, so definitely check it out. Right now, I'm actually.
Is that a horror show? Is it
it is a horror show, yeah. Yeah,
so
every episode is different. It's an anthology series. So every episode is different, kind of like a Black Mirror. And
I like
yeah,
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror is absolutely amazing. So if you like Black Mirror, you'll definitely love 2 Sentence Horror Stories, because like and it comes from that. It like, I don't know if you're aware, but there was this thing on, like, this phenomenon on Reddit where people would post a horror story made out of 2 sentences. So the show takes those 2 sentences and makes a complete story out of them. So in the beginning of the episode, you'll see the first sentence, and at the end, you'll see the second,
So
which is absolutely great.
The name of the show, 2-sentence horror show. Got it.
Stories.
Got it.
2-sentence horror stories.
Horror stories.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and then right now, I'm actually also filming a pilot for a CBS pilot. I'm not able to say what it's called right now.
Oh, come on. You can say Star Trek too. Come on. You can say you're playing Mr. Sulu. It's okay.
No. What I can say though is that it's a CBS pilot. It's a medical drama. So I'm playing a patient, which is going to be awesome. So I really hope that it comes to see the light of day, because it's definitely going to be it's definitely quite a journey that my character has.
Oh, that's great. You know what? We got to check in with you as you continue down the road of acting. And, you know, I'm really thankful for you to come by and see us here on Traffic Jams podcast. And my name is Dr. Dre. And this is Carlos, a.k.a. Prince Marquis D. And I wish you the best, man. We definitely want to keep in contact and learn more as you progress in your career.
Yeah, that would be absolutely great. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me and having me on your show. That's I'm definitely humbled and very, very, very grateful.
This is the Traffic Jam.